It was also for me interesting to read this book because I saw there was a kind of a connection between the battle for the women's right, but also for against the slavery.
Yeah,
that was kind of
those two were connected.
Can you explain that a little?
Yeah,
bit?
it's because we start the book in, as I said, the mid 1800s and in the United States. Because there was this meeting in Seneca Falls in the state of New York, which is usually called the very first meeting of the women's movement. And those women behind this meeting, they were also engaged in the anti-slavery movement. Women were not supposed to participate in politics, but they did participate in religious movements, in the anti-slavery movement, which was a big scene in both England and the United States for many decades. Also white people, of course, fought against slavery. And these women, they were actually going on a big anti-slavery congress in London in 1840. And there was a delegation of American men and women who traveled with boat.
Yeah.
Took weeks probably to get across the Atlantic Ocean. And then they showed up at this Congress, and the British organizers, they were shocked that there were women in this delegation from the United States, because in England they had never seen women take part in politics, which this is, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So then they didn't know what to do, because women are not supposed to speak in public, and they decided that okay, they have been traveling a lot, a long way, so we don't want to send them home, but they can they drew up this curtain through the room. It's a very big room, and then they decided that women should hide behind the curtain and be silent and just listen to the men. And they were, of course, very annoyed. And this was what you call the final straw.
Yeah.
Because they looked at each other, these women, and they said, my God, maybe it's time to talk about women's rights as well.
Yeah, not only kind of the human right and the rights for freedom for the
the
slaves,
slaves,
but also the right for the women. Yes.
Yes. So they went back home, and they started to write this alternative. The Americans have this independence. What do you call it? The Declaration of Independence, which famously starts with all men are created equal, and then there's all these fine rights that applied for all men. And then they just started to say, and women all over. Also women should be allowed to inherit their parents, to make their own money, to have an education, to get a divorce if they want. And then they invited people to come to this new Congress. It was in 1848 in Seneca Falls, as I said, and this meeting is the very first meeting in the organized women's movement. So these were anti-slavery activists.
Yes, so that was a new knowledge for me. I didn't know, so I got really like, why didn't I get to know that, you know?
Yeah.
Why didn't that be part of my history books, you know?
It isn't very well known, because the story of the women's liberation movement hasn't been written, not in this kind. This is a graphic novel, so this is very easy. What you call it, for everyone to get the story. But also in other kinds of books, there hasn't been very many books about this story, about the organized women's movement.
So it's interesting, because I was kind of interested also in the authors that you are describing here. That, for example, the novel, the Uncle Tom's Hut. That was a novel I read when I was kids. So actually, when I was a kid, I was very like, for me, the anti-racist movement, that was kind of something I was engaged in, but I didn't even know that a woman wrote that book, you know.
Harriet Beecher Stowe wrote the Uncle Tom's Cabin, who was a very important book in the Civil War, and also in getting people, because it was so much read. It was people did see this conflict and the slavery with a new kind of eyes. So, so she was very important.
I think that is maybe because a topic for me is kind of also the how fiction can help changing society, or how fiction can open hearts, you know. But that is not really that is not an organization that a woman, she starts to write a book, and then the book gets so popular in the whole society, and people they're starting to explore it and wondering. So it's kind of two different kind of way to change.
Because she was not part of the organized movement, but she did her thing and it was extremely important for so many Americans. So you can work in very many different kinds of ways and achieve just as much.
But you are also you are a journalist, but also an author, and you have been expressing yourself by writing for many years. And but your name, Marta, it is actually connected to women. And mother and
housewife
also. So how old were you when you got to know that your name was kind of connected with
I actually I just remember that we had religion in school. We learned about the Bible, and then there's this story about the two sisters, Marta and Maria. And then I remember being a bit annoyed with this Marta figure, because she is the housewife. She is very keen on washing and cleaning and making food for Jesus and his friends, and she has no time to sit down and have a good time. And I was just like, that was not like who I wanted to be, or what my mother was like.
No.
So we would rather take part in the party, Jesus party, than to be standing in the kitchen. So
so your mother, she didn't really, or your parents, they didn't know that the name they gave to the girl was kind of also signification of housewife. And when I read it today, I was like, Marta Breen, who's the very famous feminist here in Norway, you know. I'm very honored that you're here. So that you have a name inside you, a kind of name which is like the housewife, which is kind of the opposite of a battling woman, you know. So
I have released a book earlier, which is called Hele Norge baker ikke. The whole of Norway does not bake. So I'm not the Marta in the Bible, no.
No, exactly. No. So, but that was so something in her name. It was interesting for me that.
I don't think my parents even read the Bible, so
no,
they were sticking to Mao's Little Red book.
Sorry?
The Little Red Book of Mao.
The Little Red Book,